Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry I'm a little bit late. Things and stuff happen, you know. So, let me know if everything is working okay audio-wise so that I know that everything is good. So, today, obviously, we're continuing with the Vz-235. Last time, we kind of focused almost entirely on getting the gantry sorted. This is supposed to wobble, it's okay. Getting the belts in, extruder, hot end, carriage, all this kind of stuff. Between last stream and this one, I've just finished off by adding this fan. I think that was the last piece we needed to add it. The last piece we needed to add in. So, yes, I think we're ready to get on with the next steps. I just need to find out what exactly that is. So, hello everyone. Hello Lars. Yes, I was a little bit late. Sorry about that. And Skull and Dementorian and Lars again. Good. So, because we don't have many instructions, I'm not exactly sure what the next thing is to do, but there are a couple of things I think we need so I can get on with some things, even though I'm not entirely certain if it's the best next step or not. It is a step that we can take that will be productive. So electronics is certainly one of the things, but I think we have to put some of the panels on first. Let me show you what I mean. So this is the kind of not full Fusion 360 CAD, but most of it for the aluminium parts. So in order to do the electronics, obviously this is all going to be mounted at the back, and we have to put at least probably this panel on before we do that kind of major electronics work in here. We can start assembling the actual electronics things to the panels, so we might get started with that. I don't think I've printed quite enough of the clips. I think I have only printed one because I didn't know what I was printing. I just dumped all the STLs in to print, and it just printed one of everything. So I think we're going to need a few more bits and bobs there, but we can sort of get around to that hopefully by the end of today. We've got a couple of panels we can put in at the back with the power supplies and stuff, but again, it's probably going to be like prepping stuff off the printer today, I think. I'm about 90% sure that I'm going to paint the panels. I've not had time to do it between last week and this week. So the panels at the moment are still the kind of full aluminium appearance that they started with. But I'd like to do a bit of work to kind of, don't know, just kind of make it my own kind of thing. So we'll probably do some modification to those. But things like the screen, for example, these braces, the feet, maybe that kind of stuff. We need these brackets, these hinges here. Because that includes the tensioner for the stepper for the gantry, so that needs to go in. So it's going to be a little bit of a kind of odds and ends stream. I think we're going to do little bits and bobs. I've not actually printed these ducts yet for the side static cooling, so that needs to go in too. Lots and lots of things we can get on with. I've put, I think, electronics in the title, but we may not be doing much electronics. I had to just make a guess as I scheduled it. So yeah, some bits and bobs. I think we're going to start with these motor tensioner things, because that's sort of what I have like semi-prepared to be getting on with. Now, I don't know exactly what they look like. Has it been a good build so far? Yeah, it's been really good, I think. Little niggles here and there that are not perfect, but it's a beta kit and the instruction manual is not finished yet. So these little things are likely to be problems until there's like a full manual, kind of all included in one space that's designed specifically for this kit, kind of all in one go. And like the beta kit has little missing screws here and there, but it's very small problems. There's been nothing major. Everything has assembled as it's meant to. There's not been like missing holes and stuff like that. So overall, yeah, pretty good experience so far. don't know how I can show this as well. Right. Yeah, as I said, the assemblies are a little bit, the instructions rather, are a little bit half finished at the moment. So, we've got these things. So these are the hinges, which were, I think, this way up, something like this, and that's the hinge, obviously, there. Hingy, 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 hinge. But we also have this, and this goes on here, and this is like your tensioner knob. Why is everyone retracting their messages? So I think this kind of thing is just going to sort of assemble on here. No, that's got to go, I think that's got to be that one, because I think the tensioner goes to here. And then that would be hinged there. Oh, you couldn't see that. So yeah, we've got this hole here and this hole here. I think this one is for mounting. So that one goes there, and then this one will be where the tensioner arm goes over here. Oopsie daisy. And pulls on this part, and that will pull the motor this way, which will in turn tension the belts. I'll try and do a kind of summary video after I've finished. So we should have some M4 button heads, M4 by 10, they might be enough. We've got some pins. So these are just kind of straight pins, which are going to be used for the hinges, I think. They're a little bit loose, but that should be fine. We need some clips to go in here. I think these are, oh, that one seems, no, it's about the same. Oh, starting at midnight for you, sorry. It's going to be starting at midnight for somebody somewhere, unfortunately. So, I used to start mine quite late, and that destroyed my sleep schedule, so I've had to start it at a time which works for me, ultimately. Hopefully you can enjoy the catch-up if you don't manage to watch it all now. Hello, Sebastian Jackal. Welcome back. So we've got M4 by 10s. We should have some nuts. Let's bring this out a little bit, shall we? Hopefully that's not going to be too long. I think that's too long. Yeah, M4 by 10 is too long, so we need M4 by 8. I think that might be what I have here. M4 by 10. M4 by 40, M4 by 12, M4 by 8. I think we need some nuts, I think we need those. Yeah, I will try to do a wrap-up recap at the end. I find them really difficult to do. I don't know how people normally do them, but I end up forgetting a lot of what happened, especially during live streams where I'm focusing on a few different things at once. If I'm building stuff off stream, I'll tend to make notes about stuff as I go. That's how I tend to do reviews and things. Whereas obviously doing it live, I can't really just sit here and write some notes for 10 minutes as I go. That wouldn't be particularly entertaining or informative for anyone watching. Yeah, I'll do my best to try and do a summary video. It might be quite brief, but I'll try and do something. Ooh. Yep, that's fine now. That works on there. How can I need to try and show you this manual at the same time. No, that's the wrong thing. Give me 2 seconds while I try and pull up the manual on this second screen. By second screen, I mean entirely separate computer. Yeah, here we go. So hopefully you can hear me. Yeah. This is what we're obviously trying to build. So we've got that hinge pin that goes all the way through. We've got, looks like M4 by 10 screws here, or M4 something screws. M4 something screws here, this, and then this handly thing. So you can kind of see a bit how this goes together. The pin goes through there, we've got that screw, and then a nut that goes in here. I would prefer exploded view, but this kind of works okay. I wonder if it does have, it just sort of instantly goes from that to that. So we've got two that now look at that. Hi, Twenskies. So here we have like a headless screw. It's, or is it? It's actually a really long grub screw. It's got a hex in one end. What we want to do is stick that in there and that in there. Let's put the hex somewhere where we can actually reach it. So we should be able to screw it with this. Yes. And that will go in there, but with this on here, with that on there. Do you mean lock tight? That'll be in there. I don't think it's needed because this, I don't believe, actually holds the tension. Like the tension will be held by the clamping force of the screws. This is just during tightening. After that, it could probably actually be removed. It's not. I don't think it's fundamental to the strength. As you can see, oh no, you can't see, ironically. Yeah, the motor holds in place fine without it. It's all screwed and clamped and held. Morning, Steve. Everyone say hello, Steve. That's a good way to do that. Put the nut on there, then put that in there. We've got this. I'm not sure quite what screw length we want for the other, what's it? M4 by 12, it suggests. So we'll find an M4 by 12. You need to get a cat. Seems like everyone has their one. Does Nero have a cat? I know Steve has a cat. I don't think there are many cat owners. I'm actually allergic, so it wouldn't be particularly ideal for me. Welcome! We have a new subscriber. Not subscriber, sorry, member. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Hopefully I can call you Martin, because that name I can pronounce. That's cap head. I'm looking for M4 by 12 button head. Not that it really matters. Oh, that's per 10. Okay, it looks like the only M4 by 12 are cap head rather than button head, but that's... Oh, got the microphone. If you can help me pronounce your other name, I'll do my best to use that. I just, you know, I struggle with languages. So this goes in here. Oh, we need the... Isn't there supposed to be a panel on here as well? Hang on a minute. That might increase the length of the screws that I need, because 8 might not be long enough once I have a panel. Where's me panels? Here's one. Let's... So... Clearly that's not the right way around. That looks like the right way around. Yeah, something like that should work. So now I am going to need longer screws. Let's go back to these M4 by 10. M4 by 8 might still work, but... It's good 3D print reinforcement. I still want to build a VzBot, but after having already built a 2.4 and switch right, and also a RatRig V-Mini and a 3.1, I'm really having a hard time justifying building a printer. Yeah, I mean, it depends a lot what you use them for, how often you use them, if you're selling prints and all this kind of stuff. Space can be a big issue for a lot of people as well. Like me, I don't have that much room for putting printers, so I need to do this through the panel. I'm just thinking there's going to be more panel stuff that's got to go on here. Probably something like this. This goes with this, that goes on here, so that goes on the door, so this goes on the door. Closure. So I'm just looking at what screws and things we're going to need for these doors at the front. So we've got this corner up here. We don't have a screw shown, but that should be okay. We can work that out. That piece in there. Another door hinge. That's M4 by 10. Probably a nut on the back. Well, we're going to need a nut because it's not threaded. And then another one down here in the corner. But 4 by 10. And what were I using? 4 by 12 and 4 by 10. Cup heads, button heads mixed. I think the screws, I think I've already mentioned this before, but the screws is probably the most frustrating part of the build at the moment. Partly because without a full manual, you have to kind of check which screw size to use each time, which is just obviously a bit inconvenient. But I mean, it's fine, we can still build it. But because it's beta, they've not fully decided all this stuff. Well, this would be the first thing I can't do unless... so that says... Oh yeah, that's right, of course, yes. That's me being wrong, not the holes. That's fine. Did I print all the parts? I did print all the parts myself. I mean, obviously, this is the aluminium parts kit, so a lot of the parts are aluminium, and therefore, obviously, did not print them. But all the printed parts I printed. What material did I use? That is a good question. I printed them a little while ago. I've sort of forgotten. I know they're ABS. I can't remember which brand. What's going on there? We need... Should have a bag of like panel corners. Here we go. No, that's not right. That looks like a viable piece. As does that. 3, 4. There we go. All black. Yeah, I was going to do black and red, but obviously having never really seen the printer before, I didn't know which parts exactly to do in what colors to make it look good. They're not like marked as black and accent like the Voron ones are. Not yet, anyway. So my intention was to go some black and some red. But we ended up with all black because it was just easier. And I thought the kit was going to come... The kit arrived, I think, and then I hadn't finished printing the parts. So I was like, we need to get them done now. So I just, boom, all black, job done. Hopefully, as time goes on, they'll... Oh, the 330 parts are labeled for accents. Well, I could have referenced that, I guess. This is one of the things I think they're working on with the next manual in terms of 235 and 330, because they're quite different, but sort of similar. I didn't look at the 330 stuff. Obviously with Voron, they will just like, this is the size. And I think these are M3. These are all M4 and this don't fit. I've ended up getting random screws sitting around. I'm not sure why we're using M3 and M4 screws for this, but not to worry. I'm not sure how much are the same for printed parts. Daniel and I have been planning our builds. Nice. I didn't do much planning. It's not really my forte when it comes to printer builds. I tend to just go. I was never sure when this kit was going to arrive because I've been in contact with Mellow about it for around a year, I think, or more. I think 1 year. So I sort of thought that maybe they decided not to send me one or something, and then it out of nowhere just arrived. I was like, okay, let's change plans and do this. Yeah, the lacking documentation is obviously a current thing and not necessarily a long-term thing. So it's not something I would worry about, but you might just want to wait a little bit unless you're really keen to be like really early for some reason. Don't particularly recommend going for things earlier than necessary. And I think when stuff can be a bit undocumented, it makes it a lot more difficult just because it's a little bit unknown. You're sort of, I don't know. You've got to work stuff out. You've got to understand what the end goal is without having the documentation that will get you there. Okay. This is the downside of using two different size screws, is that you end up with two different size heads, which means you then need two different tools. So that one, no, it's 2.5. Yeah, if I was doing this not live, then obviously it becomes a lot easier to just look up things as you go. Doing it live just adds a little bit of challenge where I just need to do it. I could plan it, but for me, planning something just ends up being, I end up doing it all and then undoing it for a live stream, which just seems a little bit, I don't know, it feels a bit false doing that. Are we going M4 by 12 for this? I think so. This is another different size screw. So this is our tension. Doesn't have very much to pull against, but it should be okay, I guess, for just tightening the belts. Let's see if we can use it. Unfortunately, with like shipping and customs, there's not a lot you can do about it. You can kind of wait for local resellers and things, but ultimately they're likely to end up with the same sort of pricing. It probably won't improve that much. So there we go, we've got a tension knob now, that works. It doesn't untension quite as well as it tensions, but that doesn't matter too much. That's one side. Now we need to do exactly the same for the other side. So this one's going like so. Curious to understand how much more difficult the wiring and clipper setup is for a 24 volt, 48 volt printer versus say board. It'll be basically the same. I don't imagine the clipper configuration will be particularly difficult. It's a little bit different when you've got the 4-wheel drive, so you've got 4 motors, but it's not going to be... It's not, if you can do a normal configuration, you're going to suddenly not be able to do this. Good afternoon, Ella. So, 2 of these, 2 M3s, 2 of these. What is it missing? Well, I don't know. So obviously I got a beta kit here. I don't know how many changes will be in a kit. There are a couple of little bits missing now, like screws, a couple of stepper drivers, there's stepper motor cables, and a few M4x8 and M4x10 screws. Other than that, pretty much everything's there. Raspberry Pi is not included, I believe. If you want to do Clipper, I can't remember if this control board can do the RetWrap firmware. But I think the firmware is designed already, like pre-configured for Clipper, so Clipper's definitely the easier option. But of course you'll need a Raspberry Pi, but things are looking pretty good, I think, on the Raspberry Pi front now. Pricing in some places is still a little high, perhaps, but they should be pretty reasonably stocked, I think, now in quite a few places. So it only took a few years, but we're there. Oh, I've already forgotten what length screws I used. M4x10, wasn't it? 2 M4x10, M4, this M4. Huh, what have I done there? Huh. The line that doesn't fit on this one. The panels, I'm pretty sure, are identical. The panels are identical, and yet they've moved the hole position for this one, so it doesn't fit. How's that happened? What we can do is, let's get this and this and this. We'll put in the screws that we can fit and just leave out the ones that we can't. I don't think it's going to make a big difference. What would we use here in 4x12? So obviously the most important thing is this one, that goes in there. Then we need this one, that goes in there. And then we'll only have one screw for the frame because the hole is in the wrong place. I don't know how they've managed that because, as I said, this one is perfect. Because it's acrylic, I don't want to drill it. I mean, it's just slightly offset, which means it's going to be very difficult to do as well. I'll just leave the screw out and it'll all be fine. No worries. Ooh. I think the problem that I had with the Big Tree Tech Pi, I'll not use their actual Pi, I suppose. The CB boards I've used, I think they're the same kind of thing. It was just the challenge of having the correct, or like a standard clipper install. They just made their own version. It was a little bit, didn't update properly kind of thing. I don't know if that's still the case. But personally, I'd probably recommend a Raspberry Pi, if you can get one, over anything else. Okay, so now we should be able to undo this one here and these two here. We should be able to tension both sides. So my main goal for the tension is to just make sure the gantry is straight. Identical belt length would be the best scenario, and then you get identical tension. But the next best thing is just a straight gantry. I think I'm going to have to do this standing up to get myself the best angle. Okay. So I'm just using the back plates as a guide. So by moving the gantry to the back, I can hear if it's slightly offset. So now I want to move them both a bit. That feels pretty good. maybe a little bit high, but I think we'll go with that. So now we just want to lock them into place. So we just screw everything down. Tighten everything up. And then it shouldn't move. Don't want to go too high with the torque. And I'm going to loosen these off a bit. Okay, they are too tight. Okay, well, it'll do for now. We can loosen them off a little bit later, I guess, if we need to. Yeah, these are really tight, actually. Didn't seem that tight when I was standing up, but it's very tight now. Let's readjust. I don't think it tightened as I tighten the screws. That shouldn't happen. Right, let's give this another go. Still feels very high. This one doesn't seem to be sliding. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. Yeah. Unfortunately, since the belt lengths are not quite equal, it is a little bit tighter on one side than the other, but the gantry is straight and the belts are tight. Oh. Right. Okay. Just keep catching this on here. Those OSEC build sheets, by the way, have you been getting on with yours? I think it's really good, but the company is not so good. Their communication, and I don't know what's going on. I asked them a little while ago, like, what's going on, and they said, here, we'll give you a bunch of information, you can share it, and then people will know what's going on. And then I never heard anything else. So, I don't know. The sheet is good, but if you can't get them, that's not really useful, is it? I think they were overloaded and then moving factory and then changing and doing, and I don't know. I have no idea. Hopefully whatever's going on will end up being a good thing, but I mean, it's taking quite a long time since I've really heard much from them, so I really don't know. Oh, does this not fit? Wrong piece, that's why. M14 goes in there. I think the 235 is just a bit newer. You might find that after they've done the kind of initial phase that more availability appears. I can't confirm or deny that because I have no information on it, but that's what it is. So the other thing we could put on is the doors, but I don't think we're really going to gain much from doing that. It's just going to make access a pain, and I'll probably end up breaking them before I finish the build. So I think we're going to stop there. Not as in stream-wise, just as in those particular panels. What I could put on, though, is some reinforcement doobly-doos. I'm not doing panels yet because I haven't finished them. I want to finish them. These doobly-doos I think are a good thing to do next. So have we got any screws in here? No. Nil point. No. Okay, so we'll have to just work it out. It'll be M4, I just don't know what length. 10 looks probably too short. Well, I might be wrong. That might be just enough. What have we got lots of? Quite a few M4x10. $12 might be ideal. What do we have? I think there's like only 2 M4x12s, so how's that gone? These are M4x12. There's only 2 left, so if it was those, it isn't now. This looks like it should be plenty long enough. So we want to put one side in. Tighten that, and then tighten this side as well. That looks pretty good. Same again. I'm using 10 because I know I have a box of M4x10, so in the event that I've used the wrong size, I know I won't run out. 10 feels like a pretty good size. Considering the amount sticking out, I think it's probably intended for M4x10. Ugh. Holding it, not so easy though. There we go. I do have some CNC versions of these actually. So these are what I'm reselling from a company in Austria called Spanner System. It's based on this bracket. It's the same size as far as I know, just slightly different geometry. CNC milled out of aluminium. So these are on the shop if you're interested. Obviously for each build you need 2 of these and 2 of these. They're sold individually and they come in this 3D printed packaging to keep them safe during shipping. Why am I not using them? Because I'm just selling them. They're not part of the kit and I'm demoing the 3D Mellow kit. Yeah, I'm demoing the kit, so because they're not part of the Mellow kit, I'm not using them. But I might do later as like a upgrades, updates kind of build thing. I can't remember the price off the top of my head. They're reasonably expensive, but they're pretty high quality. I'd say very high quality. They're on the website. You can check vector3d.co.uk. If you go into the shop now part, and then you'll see all the categories. There's a category specifically for Spanner System. Spanner System. I don't know quite how I'm meant to pronounce it. If I remember correctly, they're Austrian. You can check pricing on me website. Right, what is next? What is next? What is the definition of next? these two feet might be a good thing to do while we're doing some of the extra stuff. I've got these as well. I think these are going on here, but I think they just sort of fill that gap, but they're not held in, so I guess they'll fall out at some point. Do I do feet? Do I do handles? Do I do panels? Electronic gizmos? We'll try and fit this. Put a connector in there, and maybe we'll stick a control board and stuff on there. And we can put the fans, I think, on there. And we can put the handles on the top. Maybe we'll do that as well. Doobie-doo. What does this do? Not sure. Or maybe it's at the top, is it? Is the top to stop the doors going too far in or something? I don't know. Stop telling me to do the panels. Oh dear, do I have to screw this on before I put the electronics onto it? Poops. Okay, we might not be able to do that. We can probably screw the fans and stuff on here. We've got this though, this we can do. Not sure which box the screen is in. That's the funny thing. There you go. Who just want to? VzBot put electronics on the printer part first. Huh? How'd they do that? Because there's a recess on the part for the head, so you've got to screw it into this. Maybe they just assembled it on here and then took it all off to put it on the video. I don't know. People making YouTube videos, including myself, do things in weird order sometimes just to make it easier to film. I don't know if that was the case on this occasion, but it can sometimes be. So we've got the screen peelies, I think, on here. Yes. Probably not too soon. Hopefully not too soon. So connector and ribbon cable on that end. Ah, there's some buttons here. So these things across the top are buttons. At least. I think mine are a little bit brittle. Oh. Yeah, I think those tabs are just a bit small. I don't know if anyone else has had a good experience with them. It might be my ABS or something was a bit too dry. Or it's ASA, I can't remember. Mine were kind of a little bit joined though. I don't know if it was a bit of stringy or something. So this is this. So is this going to be LCD out the side? Ah, looks like this is a different... Oh, that's lipo though. I don't think we need a lipo for this. We need to take these hole covers off. If you have a problem with the screen case, I'll fix and re-upload. Well, yeah, I mean, the only thing is those little button things. I don't know. It might just be that, I don't know, maybe you can get them to protrude more on the back so they don't have to flex as much. Maybe make the hinge part or something a little wider. I don't know how to make it better. It's a pretty tight fit, which is nice. Maybe it's have to push it in that way around or something. I don't know. I don't know the solution, but mine did unfortunately crack a bit as I installed it. Okie dokie. This is nice. Oh, this doesn't quite line up. I don't know if the version you designed it for had a different connector. But obviously this one's a right angle connector. I'm guessing the one you had, it was pointing straight up, so it would have worked, but... Those holes are to affix DIN clips on. Isn't that for the DIN? Oh, for the DIN rail adapter. You are probably right, in which case, yes, it would clip on afterwards. So this looks like M3 for the screen. Does a ribbon cable just come out the side? It looks like it. God, this is a... Wow. That's a long ribbon cable. Okie dokie. But it just comes out the side, right? Hmm. The height I have here is a little bit different, I think, as well. Which way are these meant to go? I always forget. Yeah, it's... Oop. My slot doesn't quite align here. I might have to cut this top piece out. I think if I really like mashed it in hard, I might get access, but I'm questioning why it's... Oh, there's the foam, isn't there? Yeah, the USB-C port lines up. Can I just plug it in with USB-C? That would be easier. Not sure. I've not used this screen before. What did the kit come with printed parts, or did you print them yourself? If so, what material did you use? It doesn't come with printed parts. Most of the parts are CNC'd aluminium, but all the printed parts you see, I printed myself out of ABS. I was going to say ABS black, but I think the color is evident. Yeah, I think that would be the right way around. Blue facing up, tab goes on the side. This might be a little bit naughty, but I'm going to cut it a little bit. That way, when we put this in here, we have a little bit more access to this side port. Ta-da! Now we need some N3 screws. Can you plug the cable in first? Potentially, but it's a bit late for that now. Unfortunately, I didn't see that before I cut it. I would recommend increasing the diameter of these through holes to 3.5 mil if they aren't already. Oh, or maybe my part has shrunk a little bit or something. Are we there? Oh, I think we're there. There's that one. Nice. Unfortunately, it's not very easy. Now that I've put this all on, I can't get to the clip to put the cable on and off. It might be nice just to have that whole area open so you can deal with this cable. Up to you. I don't think there's much I can do with this now, unfortunately. Can I just pull this out gently? No. We've made a start with the screen. Shall keep it carefully boxed for now until it's ready to go on. Handles. Looks like another M4x10 scenario. Huh. Okay, I don't think we can use button heads. We need to use socket heads because the holes are too narrow. There we go, that would work. Just about long enough. Again, 12 might be better, but this should work. For this, I'm going to try these roll-in nuts because I think I want the best strength I can get without any risk of the nut not tightening. So let's see if we can roll in a couple of these. You're doing everything other than the electronics. Well, we're only an hour in. We've still got an hour to go. I'll do the electronics after I put the handles on, shall I? 1, 2, and then 2 on this side. Those broke pretty well, that's good. They can sometimes be a little bit difficult, but these ones are fine. These are definitely biased to one side. I'm not sure which side we want them biased to. I'll go with that for now. Happy days. Handles. Right. Let's have a look at these. Well, this is technically an electronics thing, but let's have a look at this doobly-doo here. So, this one's 4 fans mounting to it. And this is for the drivers. That's accessories. This is a motherboard. Bunch of drivers. I don't see how many DIN rail clip things I've printed. 1, 2, 'That is it. A total of 2. I feel like I probably need... No, that's got its built-in clip. Maybe I don't need more than 2. So it looks like these are going to fit on here. Absolutely lovely. Heater inserts might be nice, but this will be okay. And 3x8 screw. Two, 3, 4. Need some M3 nuts. I think Nylox would probably be a good idea for these. I might actually just go get some now. Just because with the electronics and stuff on top, you don't want them rattling loose. That could be a bit of a risk. So M3 Nylox. Nylox can be a bit of a hassle to screw in, but they should not come loose. Going to need much longer screws than that. Probably M3 by 12. Only 2. Do I have any of my own? M3 by 12. I have some. These may be even too long now, I'm not sure, but I have to go through this and this and then the nut. That looks okay. Oh. Hopefully the head of this screw isn't going to sit too high. Oh, what am I doing? I need that on there and this for this side. Wiring things up, I don't think is too bad. It's one of those things that does take a bit of planning. You've got to have a good awareness of like all the things you need to do. Making yourself a wiring diagram, maybe even like drawing lines or putting masking tape or something on where those things are going to go. Just to give yourself a plan for what needs to go where and how much is going there. Having the right tools for doing things like crimping helps a lot as well, because if you don't have the right tools it can take a very long time purely because they can be difficult to use, or you have to crimp a terminal like 4 times before you get it just right. Whereas a tool that's set up nicely will do it the same every single time. Great, so that's our electronics panel. Da 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 da! So what we should be able to do now, got a bunch of extra gubbins there. There's probably a bunch of setup I need to do on this board itself. Does anybody know where there's information on such a thing? Probably the GitHub page, one would imagine. Super 8 Pro. I'm guessing probably some jumpers on these things in here. We need to install some fuses. Jumpers. Got a thing for this. I've got a thing for a USB port, which is a bit weird, but sure. Ah, yes, we have these little jumper connector things. These are the little MOSFETs, I think, which makes them replaceable. I think they're reversible. They have to go in these. I think. Pins, there's no purchase page. Right firmware, clip information. Is this going to help? Not an ideal language for me. Can we make this into English? Where's the make it English button? No, that just takes you back to the GitHub. Here we go. The jumper should be installed as below. Common interpolation should be used for standalone drivers. SPI mode interpolation is supported for 5160. UART mode interpolation should be used when using smart drivers, i.e. 2208, 2209, 2225 and 2226. We are using 5160. So I think we're going to be going SPI mode. Unless anybody tells me otherwise, I think that's what I need to be setting up for. So we need some little jumpers. I don't know which of these are going to be 5160s either. We've got two 2209s. Maybe 7654. Are going to be these four. Or is it these four? Those four? I don't know. I suppose I could check the firmware configuration. That would be one way to find out which ones are intended for that. Fan MOSFETs. 5 replaceable fan MOSFET that control 10 fan outputs. If the MOSFET is damaged by an accidental short circuit, I can easily be replaced. New FlyMOS modules can be purchased from the Mellow store. The fan MOS design allows it to be installed in either orientation. Amazing. So we can stick these dooblies in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 of those. And we got, looks like, a spare in there as well. And we also have some fuses. 15, 10, 15, and 15. So we've got jumpers for fan voltage as well. Oh, blimey. There's so many jumpers. I don't think these are going to be... Is that going to fit under there? I have to put how many in? Flipping loads. So you say first 4 of 5160. So 0, 1, 2, and 3. Wow, there's lots of these to do, isn't there? Oh, it goes left to right. So you mean it's not these numbers? It's 7, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Oh, that just scooted away. Where did you post that? Is it in my... It's not in my Discord. VzBot Discord. The Busy. Oh, which one is it? I can't find... There's so many channels. Which channel is it in? Stepper Drivers? No. Electronics? Here. You can't post links here. You won't be able to put a link. If you can see the link for you, that might be a bug. I don't allow link sharing except for moderators. Right, it makes sense doing it this way because these are kind of biased this end. So 7, 6, 5, 4, and then we'll have the two 2209s here. Oh, because those go for the other power as well. Oh, drive power 3 to 7 and driver power 0 to 2. So you can have different driver power for these 4 versus these 4. No, these 5 versus these 3. So on 1.3, we can actually have them either way around. We've got our 48 volts on the far one. There doesn't seem to be any suggestions for what fuse to use where. What are our options? Drive high power, drive low power. No, that's 0 to 2. That's the wrong way around. I'm going to check the firmware. Oh, you wrote. .cfg. Left to right is not the same left to right. Got to be driver number. Right. X, X1, Y, and Y1. Okay, so now we have that. We can go here, get the pins. So P5. Oh no, that's not what we want. Step is PE14 for X. Oh, where did it? I had it. 3. So it looks like 3, 2, 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. Let's check another one. Step pin X1 PE1. That's 5. What is going on? High power. So do any of them use PE6? Nothing uses PE6. So we don't actually use 7 at all. So it looks like 0, 1, and then 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's look up PE2 and PE3. PE2. P2 is Z. P3 should be E. Yep. So oh, there's like a tiny little switch on the bottom. Oh, that's going to be difficult though. Is that going to fit with this? I think it's this one here. Let's just check the documentations again. UART node is this one here. Okie dokie, let's have a... Thank you for the Discord message, Twinkies. Thanks, Twenskies. Let's get that open and have a little look. I think I was getting there eventually, but let's see what the documentation says. So Here's a detailed guide on how to install the Mellow Super 8 V1.3 with Mellow 5160 externals and how to wire everything up. Comes with that stuff. This is that stuff. That's that stuff. Fuses, other small bags and things. So this tells us where to put the fuses, which is useful. So we go blue, blue. Cool. How? God, that's a bit. I'm not sure these fuse holders match these fuses. That one's alright. That one's alright. These are really... Oh no, that one's gone in. I don't know if I'll ever get them out if they do blow, but we've got them in at least. We've done those little MOSFETs. Insert the MOSFETs. Driver setup. SPI. UART. See, this is not what the firmware says. Because the firmware doesn't use PE6. It uses, I think, 4, 14, 15, and 1. Oh, what's going on there? Okay, no, it doesn't use 4. But it did use 14 because we found 14. Oh yeah, this was the other low voltage, isn't it, on 2? 0, 1 and 2 are low voltage, yeah. So 0, 1, 2 low voltage. And we leave a gap, and then it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So I don't think we need them in the last one. We don't use PE6, I believe. If we search PE6 on the dock, yeah, nothing found. So we don't use driver 7. So this is not perfect. If my understandings is correct, the documentation does not currently match the firmware. The firmware is easy enough to change, but I believe that is what the firmware is configured for. Like this. So you have TMC 2209s here and here, and the pins underneath are set for UART. Then you leave a gap because these three are your 3 20-volt drivers, 24-volt drivers. And you leave a gap because you don't want the 5160s on 24 volts. So then you've got your 48-volt section, or just your alternative voltage section. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4 drivers configured for SPI. Ah, here we go. This is labeled correctly. So the labeling here looks right, but the pin dooblies are not quite in the right place. That's fine. Right. I think we can probably screw this into place. How are we doing for time? 1 hour and 42. Time whizzes by. What I'm also going to do, actually, get these tiny little things back in this packet. Right. Let's get this out of the way. That's rubbish. So, high voltage drivers. I don't think we need that either. Or that. Is this build going to use CAN bus? I don't think it does. Not yet. Not currently. So we have this drivery thing that fits in the control board. Have the whopping great heatsink. Loads of plastic bags. This huge great driver. Look at the size of it. Oh, do we have to plug our stepper motors in here? Can't say I'm a huge fan of that, but it is what it is. That goes on there. We need now we want to cover, I believe, yes. We're trying to cover those 8 chips that you can see. Yeah, pretty obvious which ones we're trying to cover. Doesn't quite. That's the best I'm going to get. And then we probably screw this on here, something like so. Images on this website could probably be a bit smaller, not going to lie. Now plug in the adapter. It's not because I've got a weird zoom. No, The images are just huge. Plug in the adapter into the driver slots. Make sure they are set to SPI like shown in the instructions above. It's important to use 3, 4, 5, 6 for all-wheel drive. Slot 7 has some issues with SPI. Oh, so there you go. So leave the most left slot open like shown. Oh my god, this is huge. This pitch is enormous. There you go. That's what that pitch actually looks like. So before we do that, let's get some screws in this PCB. I don't think the Pi will connect to this via CAN bus. That seems particularly unlikely, I think. Two screws is going to be more than enough. 4 is just going to be hurting my hands probably. It's a shame the cable is quite so long. Not a lot we can do about that. I mean, we could cut it and trim it down and all this kind of malarkey, but unfortunately we're just going to have a tool ribbon, a tool cable. Ta-da! We'll manage them something nice at the end. That's one done. Go in there. This goes on here. This goes on here. These very long, thin connectors can be a bit like wibbly wobbly in the middle. So it's worth, as you press them in, to push in all the way along the length rather than just the two ends. Just to make sure you fully seat the connector and it's got a good connection. Yeah, not sure how we're going to manage these in a way that looks tidy. Next, number 3. Put the spare connectors in there. How many people are here today? 29. Not very many. I wonder why. I think people assume electronics is wiring and they can't be bothered to watch. It normally happens. We've not actually gone up since the start, which is odd. Normally, as it starts, more people join. Maybe somebody else is streaming at the same time. That sometimes happens. Okay, that on there. Lovely jubbly. This is going to be an absolute monster. Look at the size of it. Yeah, these are the 5160 drivers. So you convert from this to this absolutely whopping great thing. Well, actually, the driver's just in here. And ironically, it doesn't get cooling in this configuration, but there is going to be a huge, great fan over the top as well. So that should help. Driver number 4. More cardboard, plastic rubbish. Hopefully, if they sell enough of these kits, they can make like a quad driver board or something. So you don't have to screw in quite so many things and do quite so many heat sinks and stuff. All it takes is practice. Crimping isn't difficult. You just have to practice. Practice, practice, practice. Terminals are not expensive. If you buy a bulk of them, a few hundred or something, then just crimp them onto wires again and again and again. Just cut the end off the wire, crimp it, crimp it, crimp it, crimp it, crimp it, crimp it, crimp it. And you'll find that you can adjust your tool as well. There's normally a little adjustment on the tool so that when it hits that final click, you get just the right amount of pressure. And once you sorted all that out, it's easy. Wrong way around. That goes here. Oh, look at that! What an absolute monster. Oh, forgot this. Maybe we'll switch this one around. Oh, this is not going to be easy to remove, is it? There doesn't need to be a good way to do these cables. They're just going to be a bit sticky, I think. We have this to go on as well. Oh, how does that go on? Blimey, Charlie. Blimey, Charlie. Those are huge. Right, we're going to have to adjust some of these screws, put them in different places. Oh man, I do not like loads and loads of screws. Hurts my poor old man hands. Is this screwing into plastic? We need to exchange all these things for heat set inserts, and it will make the whole process much more pleasant. Right. Let's do some fans, I guess, next. Next up, we're going to put the fan on the ports and the voltage we would like to run them on. You can choose 5, 12, 24, each block with the voltage selector. Five, 12, and 24. Oh, these 12-volt fans. Is there is the connector on here for a fan? That's not JST-XH, is it? That's PH. So that doesn't fit that. Unless we re-crimp them. I've had a good idea, but it's not for now. I think we'll just screw these onto this frame at the moment. We've gone past 2 hours. We might just screw these on and then we'll be done for today. It's going to be one of the days that maybe doesn't feel like very much progress, but these things have to be done. So are these through holes or... And 3x16, these look like these will work. These look like self-tapping holes. 12-volt fan goes to the 5160 driver board. Oh, so you do have to re-crimp them all, do you? For JST PH. So we probably want them orientated such that that routing is going to be as short as possible. That looks a bit long. I don't think we want 16mm screws. And 3x10 won't be long enough, I don't think. Well, it might be because the fan is 10mm thick and it's recessed, so... Oh, but they're button heads, so they don't fit. I haven't got enough of those. I think those 35s are going to be what go through here. So we'll have those out. I think some M3x10 will be ideal for these. Probably want 8. You can put up to 4 screws in each fan, but I honestly don't think that's going to be worth it. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's a bit of a mix of stainless steel and mild steel screws, but... So... that's going to go on here. And then we want each fan to go from here directly down to its nearby fan port. Now I'm pretty sure they can't go under there. No, they definitely go on top. Be nice to have them underneath so you could have a grill as part of the printed part. Help stop you jam your fingers in it. But that doesn't fit, so. This is what we're doing today. So this should be down in here. Oh. Why you no go in? There we go. There's 2. We'll do the crimping of the fans another time. I swear everyone has had difficulty going in. I feel like the holes are not quite in the right place or something. Oh, these don't look like through holes either, so we're going to have to screw that all the way down. Oh, come on. No way. There's through hole there. So is it designed to go the other way? Surely not. I think we're just going to drill them out. There we go. That will make screwing things in much, much easier. Is this printed for just for a review, or do you plan to use it for something? It's just for review, really. I may end up using it for something. Depends how much I enjoy using it, how well it works, how reliable it is, all this kind of stuff. Right. So that's our big Chungus motherboard assembly. We've got connections on that side. Unfortunately, we can't access these screw terminals now because there's no vertical access, which is a bit annoying. But other than that, this is all looking pretty good. Am I giving it away? No. Right. So I think that's going to be it for today. 2.25 hours. Is that a bit shorter than normal? 2.5 or something we normally do? I don't know. I think we've made pretty good progress. It might not look like we've done much today because we've obviously faffed about with all sorts of little things rather than focusing on the main assembly. The main big things are kind of done at this point. So it's little electronics, panels and stuff. So the panels, when they go on, obviously they'll have a significant visual difference. But for a little while, it may not look very different. We've got handles, brackets, sides, electronics, and still lots more to do. Hopefully between this week and next week, I'll have time to have a go at painting the panels. I have some black Raptor paint, so I'm going to try and mask off the... I'll show you what I'm going to try and do before we go. So this is, for example, one of the panels. They are a little bit kind of imperfect. I think part of that is some shipping damage as they unfortunately slid around a bit in the box. Hopefully that'll be improved for the next iteration of the shipping packaging. Mine has a little burr here, so I'm actually going to probably try and sand the whole thing kind of rough. And then mask off these internal areas where you've got these machining marks. Hopefully with masking tape and be able to press that down, or sometimes there's like this rubber goop I remember having before. It's like a masking paint, so you could paint it on and it's like this thick rubber that you can then peel off. It allows you to get little details and stuff really nicely. If I can find some of that, I'll use that. But if not, I'll mask it, paint it black and then peel that off, and then we'll have this nice kind of shiny logo in the middle and a nice black panel for the rest of it. Or I might even do white. White would look pretty good, but I don't think Raptor have a white because it's a truck bed coating. So I think it's supposed to be kind of textured. Maybe I'll get a white instead. I don't know. Alternative would be to paint this whole area red and then mask it and then do the rest of it white. I think that could look pretty good as well. We'll see. I haven't fully planned it, but I'm going to try and do some painting on those panels. I'm not a big fan of the bare aluminium look. It can look pretty good if it's brushed, but generally just like bare aluminium off machined, it tends to get a little bit damaged just by moving it around and clamping it or whatever when it's being worked on. So the final finish tends to not be that good unless you do something with it. So since they're not sandblasted or anything, I'm going to try and have a go at painting. I don't have a paint booth or anything, so like the final results can potentially look a little bit, you know, a bit naff, but I'll do my best with what I've got, which is just some space outside and some coat hangers to hang stuff on afterwards. Anyway, thanks everyone for hanging out today. Hopefully for those watching now or in the future that it was useful. Obviously thank you to 3D Mellow for providing me the kit for doing this live stream, all the live streams. There's links down below for the 235 and 330 kits, so if you're going to get one, I would appreciate you using those links. That would be fantastic. And of course, check out vector3d.co.uk for all sorts of 3D printing accessories, calibration tools, and other such things. There's some new stuff on there recently, so go check it out. Have a quick look round. Grab yourself something nice. I think that's it for today. Oh, goodness me. I'm apparently tired. It's time to go for a run. I feel half asleep going for a run. That's going to be difficult. Anyway, goodbye, everyone, and I shall see you next time. If I can find out where to end the stream. Here we go. Goodbye. I'll see you next week. Same time, same channel. Goodbye.